Aloha! Welcome to the third session of Wisdom Dialogues. Thank you so much for joining. So happy that you're here. Looks like Lori has a question. Lori, aloha!
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, because I have my earplugs in. I actually okay, so I didn't have a question. I don't know why that was up, but I'm going to go for it because I just thought of because we were four-wheeling today all through, and I was thinking about what you had said last time
Uh-huh.
about the I always wanting to get in there and start saying, well, I don't do this and I don't do that. And then the other person says, well, I did. Oh my God. So I'm backing right off. That's really cool. It really wants to say, well, I do it this way, or I don't say this, or I don't do that. Oh,
Isn't that awesome to notice? It's so fun.
I am noticing so much more. Wow. Wow.
That's the best.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so now we had something on your Facebook page.
Yes.
Um, I'm gonna go find it. Do you remember?
Okay.
Do you remember
I
what it
don't
was?
I don't remember what it was, but you said I'd like to dialogue about this, and I
Right.
set it up, and I don't even remember what it was.
Okay, I'll find it.
Okay.
Because me and my friend Phoebe were on it.
Yeah.
We were listening. I mean, reading it.
Yeah. You're like, what does this mean?
Yes, I would love to talk about this. Okay, it was about the infant is no more innocent than a hardened criminal.
Uh-huh.
Everybody that can bleed and die is an appearance of ego,
Huh?
while the source of each one is pure and unchanging.
Okay.
Okay, so what we are is pure and unchanging. It's not these bodies and minds.
Yeah.
The appearance of a lifetime is nothing but an opportunity to undo ego and restore to the mind the experience of perfect innocence and eternal life. Okay,
Yes.
so the reason we are here is to undo all the thoughts that are the ego.
Well, the appearance of being here only comes about because of thought. The appearance of being in separate bodies and having
Mhm.
a lifespan and a death and things that can hurt you in the world and all those appearances, that's based on thought. And
Right.
that's not
That
real. That's a passing thing.
that's all the illusion.
Yeah, that's all the illusion. And that's the thing that's so difficult for people is that there's not a willingness to let go of the illusion. It's always trying to make the illusion better.
Right. And I think that's what all this spiritual searching for me has been about to make it better.
Right,
Okay.
that's how it starts. That's how it starts out. That's how it started out in my experience too.
So
I was
what
listening to Abraham Hicks trying to get more money by manifesting.
exactly. Exactly.
But you start going on it and you start to discover different things, and then you're kind of like, oh, I don't need to manifest anything. It's
Or
already
I'm
happening,
or I'm not manifesting anything.
right?
That's the big one, thinking that you're in control and doing all of this. That's
Yeah,
all ego.
it's a lot about trying to get control and make something happen when
Right,
it's
right.
already going on. And the other thing is the script is written. The script is written. I'm sure you've heard about oh, I don't know what it's called, but everything that can happen has already been written and it's already done. It's almost like we're just watching it. It's almost like we're just watching ourselves engage in this lifespan. I think I explained before, I'm not sure if I did on online wisdom dialogue, that it's kind of like It's kind of like consciousness is sitting there in a movie theater watching the screen while it's being projected by the unconscious mind, like that.
Wow.
Because everything's already written in the unconscious mind, like what can happen and all the different possibilities. There are different are different dimensions of possibilities that can happen, or that it's not that they can happen, it's like it's already been written, it's already been played. It's like it can be experienced, it can be your experience. And so that's why you know, you can kind of like dig yourself into a hole. What is it? You can dig yourself into a hole in thought and kind of like go down and make the thoughts more and more dense. And then all these things start happening where it's like, oh, I'm a victim again and again and again. I keep on getting victimized again and again and again. And that becomes the experience. And then there's also the going the other way and allowing those thoughts to keep on getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and then the experience gets lighter too. So
Okay.
it's not like the life is just going to go like this and this is exactly how it's going to go. There's all kinds of different possibilities for
Right.
learning,
Right.
but there's some lessons that don't need to be learned based on however they're being responded to in the moment, however they're being taken. It's not even really so much responded to, it's more like the way they're looked at.
Okay, because it's definitely it's lighter.
Yeah.
Realizing that the thoughts are just that, thoughts.
Uh-huh.
That's made it lighter and more flowing.
Right.
So, but that's not it. It's already been written. It's already happened.
Yeah, it's like it's already happened, just because it's like a script, because as soon as there's that thought of separation, then the whole thing is just written. It's like extrapolated out, all the different lifetimes and all that kinds of stuff. It's like all these different stories. It's all these different stories playing out, and it's really the same story, but it's just played out different ways. And it's basically a story of guilt. So when more and more guilt is bought into, that's when the energy gets denser. And then when it's seen through, when it's seen that this isn't true, then it gets lighter. It gets dense.
Ooh,
It lightens up till eventually it's not necessary to have more lives. And you know,
okay.
of course, the whole thing with reincarnation and stuff, it's just as real as in the illusion. That's it. It's not really real. It's just as real as the life that is being experienced right now. You know, and it's in the illusion.
Okay, so that is okay. I've realized that there is no victims. No one,
Yes.
there is no
Yeah.
victim. And
Hmm.
that has been a big opener too.
Yeah, that's
Like, yeah. So, also seeing that the minute the now is recognized,
huge. Hmm.
it's gone. It's gone. That's immediate illusion and story,
Yes.
imagination. The
Yes.
minute. So,
That's that choice that I talk about. That's that choice. It's like a choice a choice of recognizing the truth instead of going along with it.
okay. So if in that, how do you recognize in that moment that you have a choice? It seems like there is no choice and it's all just happening.
Yeah, and well, you're talking about what you're talking about that's all just happening is the story, but you're not actually in the story. In fact, you're not even in the body. You're actually viewing it. It's almost like remote viewing it. So from the position of awareness, there is this choice whether to keep going along with the illusion or go with acknowledging the truth. And that doesn't necessarily mean that your behavior changes in the moment. I mean, I've experienced my behavior keep on going with delusion but then there's something there that's also recognizing the truth in the moment.
I'm
Does that?
not sure that there's recognition in the moment. There's, okay, so let's, for an example, I was with one of my customers today,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden, okay, she's caught up in the thoughts of her husband. Um, she thinks he's going to die, and she has MS, and she's in a wheelchair, and she really depends on him, and she wants to move and make things easier for herself, and she's got all this future thoughts. So
Okay.
Lori is literally bent over in her ear and saying, "That's just thoughts about a future that doesn't exist. Future
Uh-huh.
doesn't exist." I said, you're 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 going to be okay. That that those are thoughts. I don't know, whatever came out made
Yeah.
her cry.
Uh-huh.
She felt so much better. She just said how better she felt after talking with me. So
Uh-huh.
there's a something here that says maybe Lori should zip it. Lori shouldn't act like a therapist when she's a hairdresser.
She's a hairdresser. Nice. Nice.
So, and how does Lori know? I mean, do you see what I'm saying? There's thoughts that are, I'm in somebody else's business. The Byron Katie thing. Whose business is it?
Yeah. Well, you're talking about thoughts, though. You're talking about thoughts. That's just all part of the illusion. What I'm sharing is something that's um, beyond that, and beyond whether you should tell anybody anything or anything like that. It's only acknowledging what's true, and that's in a time where there's a trigger up. And in a case like that, it would just be like in that case there was an acknowledgement of what was true, obviously. And sometimes it doesn't seem like much of a choice just because it's like, oh, obviously that's it. But there's not really a trigger for you there either. It's not like as if it seems like somebody just did something to you and you're having a really hard time forgiving them.
Right, right, right,
You know?
right.
Yeah.
There's automatic. This is just flowing out of this mouth
Yeah.
as people when they're stuck, not stuck, but they're in their thoughts and they're
Yeah.
just being tortured, really living the
Yes.
the hell dream.
Sure.
So
Yes.
there's a
And sometimes
wanting
it
to
comes out.
help alleviate that for them
Yeah.
with truth. Am I'm sharing truth.
Well, sure. You're sharing truth, and it's not like you have to make any kind of decision about that or not.
Right, because
Whatever comes
it's
out
just
of your
happening.
mouth.
Right,
Right. It's just happening automatically. The decision is in which way you're seeing it. See,
right,
it's like you didn't decide to be like, oh, that's so sad, and go into it, like
right.
that,
No,
joining
yeah,
like that. You're
right,
joining in another way. You're joining in a way where you're acknowledging what's really true, and then
right,
whatever comes out of your mouth is speaking to that.
right, and empowering them
Yeah.
because they don't have a clue that it's just thoughts.
Yes, it's awesome.
Okay. Mm.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you
Even though you
for
didn't have a choice.
right. I didn't have a choice. I see
Yeah,
that, but
go
you're
ahead.
saying I did have a choice
Well,
in the
that's on
moment.
that's on a different, like, let's say, level, for lack of a better word,
Okay.
where the choice is. The choice is in seeing only, because you can see it as being real and true, this victimization story,
Yes,
right?
from
You
her.
can see it like
Yes.
that, or you can acknowledge the truth, and that's the only choice. Everything else is automatic. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
I
And
see.
when it
Okay.
when
So,
it really, go ahead.
so automatically there was a not joining the victim story and speaking truth came out. Yes, I got it. I got
Yes,
it.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So in a case where in a case where you're having a really strong lesson, you know, it could feel like you're having something that's really powerful come at you, like who knows what.
Mm.
But it seems like something is really unfair, or somebody really slighted you, or maybe somebody even hurt you physically. You know,
Mm.
that's the point where you can really sense that this choice is being made,
Ah,
whether to go along with what the ego is saying about the situation,
yeah.
or to stand firm in acknowledgement of the truth. Everything else
Okay.
will happen,
Okay,
and
because
that's
this.
really how it gets solved. Go ahead.
Wait, you blacked out there. What? Say that again.
I said that's really how the ego gets dissolved, you know. And at a point, there's the witnessing of actually no death. Like there's an
See,
experience without that. That's a thing to recognize and realize that we are letting go of this. We are letting go of this experience with separate bodies and stuff like that, basically.
so
And
that's what this is all about. This whole
yeah,
search.
that's what it's all about. Yeah, yeah, that's
So,
what it's all about. To
it-
return, and it's constant ecstasy. It's there's no change.
I see. It's right. No, what is happening. It's always ecstasy, no matter
Yes,
what.
there's no illness and health. There's just health, or not even health. There's because it's like not even relevant, you know.
Health isn't even
And
relevant.
there's only joy. There's not fighting or anything like that. There's not even separate bodies. Somehow it's everyone's just there. Where, I don't know. Here. I haven't seen it or experienced it like that, except as a, I guess an intuition.
Oh,
Yeah, as an intuition. That's why it's like, and you know, and I've heard other people describe it, but it's really indescribable. So even when somebody describes it, it's not like you're like, oh, that's what it's like.
yeah. Okay.
It's not like something that can be imagined because it's not in the imagination.
Oh,
But it's like
it's beyond
all your loved ones
imagination.
are there. All your loved ones are there, so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid
Hmm.
to keep on acknowledging the truth. Keep on acknowledging the truth. The
Right. I
body
have.
gets lighter and lighter.
Okay, so that's what's been happening, even when people around me saying I'm getting too deep or whatever. I,
That's fun.
nothing is stopping this from happening. I see
I
that
know.
clearly, and I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So clear that I am not doing any of this. And I
Right.
think that's what helps the ego to let go is
Yeah.
when it finally accepts the fact that it's not doing it. That's a big shift in lightness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then anything can be taken with ease too. Even any kind of physical illness or anything like that, it could just be taken with ease because you know the script is actually written, and all there is to do is just keep on acknowledging the truth. As it keeps on, the truth is acknowledged, then everything lightens up, and the experience moves into higher dimensions, so to speak. And that's true for the whole world, the experience of the whole world, like as a whole. There's all these different dimensions that can be experienced, like the whole thing can be blown up. That was one thing. Like, you know, keep on going along with ignorance, and eventually the whole thing just like blows up or something. You know,
You mean the
or
whole world?
yeah, or it gets like really hairy and everything like that. Like it's you know, massive whatevers.
Right,
You know,
right,
but
right.
so there's dimensions on that collective experience too. there's definitely dimensions there. So it's like there's shifting to lighter vibrations, and even the the experience of peace on earth. Then the whole thing's just about done, just about over.
Wow,
But
which doesn't, okay,
go
that
ahead.
would be peace on earth for Hope's perception.
Well, there's a collective perception too.
Oh,
You it's not as if it's there's one mind, right? There's one
right.
mind. There's all these
Okay.
different experiences of the mind. But
Okay.
there's going to be Hope's little world where there's like my family and this different stuff that's happening, and
Right.
my own interpretations of what I see and stuff like
Right.
that. And then there's like a collective interpretation, like say there's a war or something.
Right.
There's a bomb. It's like how could a bombing didn't happen? It's like going on over there. Of course it didn't, but it's not like it's not part of my experience too. So that's all that
Right.
kind of stuff is all an opportunity for healing the mind. It's
Well,
a
it
it's a
seems
blessing.
like the bombings and the crap that's going on in the so-called world is not in my experience because I don't participate in any TV watching, any, I, I'm not part of that. I mean, I hear little things on Facebook, but it seems like Lori is not part of it. Just removed from it.
Okay, well you hear about it.
I hear every once in a while I'll hear such and such person blew up, da, 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 whatever, but it doesn't seem to um, be a heartache or a nothing clenching in the body, nothing. There's no oh Jesus, what the hell's happening to this world? Blah, 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 blah. None of that. No, it's like
Sure,
I'm not part of it.
maybe somewhat with the politics, but
Yeah, yeah, somewhat with the politics, but not a lot. I'm not sucked in. I really don't believe I'm not even going to vote.
yeah, yeah. So it's like when you just hear of something. Say you just hear of a bombing, right?
Right, right,
Okay, that's an experience of it in a way. It's
right,
you're definitely hearing about it. It's in your experience.
right.
Okay,
Okay.
so it's it's there in the mind and it's showing something. So that's just an opportunity to acknowledge that what's really caused, and it's like forgiveness at the same time. You know,
So it's
because it's
showing
not like
something.
yeah, it always is. Even if you just hear about it. Like the goal isn't to try to remove yourself from things that are happening in the world and try to be separate from it, from whatever is being experienced. It's not
Okay.
like you have to go read the news article about it once you hear about it unless you feel inspired to.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Right. And so if you don't feel inspired to, it's still um, noticing that everything that you hear and everything that you see and everything, nothing is like out of place. It all has a
Nothing's wrong.
purpose, and it's for healing the mind. So you can use everything for that.
So what about a bombing would be to heal the mind?
Well,
Forgiveness?
it's basically forgiveness. Which is let's also clarify what forgiveness is.
Mm.
It's really acknowledging the truth, and the truth is number one, it didn't really happen.
Didn't really happen,
Yeah,
right?
it didn't really happen. And number two, all parties are innocent.
Right.
So, so
No
in
matter.
acknowledging the truth, that's where it's used for healing.
Okay.
And of course, you don't have to go around telling someone that if they're like really pissed and they're not
Right.
ready to hear it.
Right. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, in your own mind. So that it's not like there's a goal of trying to um, get away from anything.
Mm,
So anything that shows up, anything that's said, anything that's heard, it's just an opportunity for the same exact. It's all the same. Everything has the same exact purpose, and that's to heal the mind.
to heal the mind.
Yep.
So what why does the mind need healing?
Well, we're talking about a mind that has made up a reality where bodies die.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It
Or I should
believes
say, made
that.
up an illusion where it seems like it needs some healing.
And that's the bottom line. The bottom line fear of the mind is that it's going to die.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
once that is healed, then there's no more fear. You're not living in the mind. There's nothing to
Yeah,
fear. Got
yes.
it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. So you
Wow.
see all these representations of fear. Bombing is a big one. You see
Right.
all these representations of fear, and then that's where the power is. You know, it's like you are that power. It's like you know, it's like the light of this Christ light or spiritual vision
Mhm.
comes through you.
Right.
That's the second coming of Christ.
Right. Comes through me.
Yeah, yeah. So it's seeing things for how they really are rather than how the mind's projecting them. That's healing the mind. That's bringing peace in basically to an illusion where it's being covered up.
Right. The thoughts are what cover up the truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then the manifestations too. You see violent manifestations. And it's just
The,
all people.
which are thoughts.
Yeah, which are well there's no thing that's not made of thought. And even energy is thought. Energy that you can sense energy in the body and energy manifesting, it's just energy is basically just unmanifest thought. So yeah, it all
Yeah.
is.
It's making me think of my ex-daughter-in-law's baby who's 2 months old.
Mhm.
Literally, he knows nothing. He doesn't even know he's a he. He doesn't see anything.
Yeah.
There's, okay, so literally, he knows nothing.
Okay.
So that means there's nothing here. There, he, oh my God, how can I? His mind knows nothing, so there's nothing here. There's nothing in front of him,
Okay.
right?
I don't know. I don't remember being a baby.
But I would imagine, don't you think that when, like, literally, he couldn't even track my fingers. Uh-oh, where'd you go?
I'm here.
Okay, you went black. You're very
I
pixelated.
did. Oh.
I
Well, I
don't,
am on an island.
yeah, I know, yes. And I heard neither hurricane really hit you guys. It kind of diverted, both of them diverted north and south of you,
They
both of
yeah,
them.
they kind of they went on either side of us and dropped a lot of rain. It was awesome. Great
Yeah,
energy, feelings, and beautiful. It was fun.
nice, nice, nice. Um, but that baby doesn't track even a finger. He's just starting to track a finger. He can't see. So there's literally nothing here
Huh?
until somebody starts giving us labels for everything, including all his body parts. His
Yep.
even the fact that he's a he, uh, and mom and dad and sister, and none of that exists for him. Is
Not
this
right
what we're
away.
right? Is this what we're heading back to?
In a way, yes. But even the birth of a body, that's already a sense of separation. There's a sense of
Right.
separation before that body takes form. It's almost like the mind is running to the body to bury itself in the body because of fear.
the mind is running to the
Yeah, it's
body
like a
to
running
bury,
away. Yeah, it's like a running away to hide. It's like hiding,
hiding
hiding,
in the
hiding
body.
in a life. Yeah, hiding in a life that's not real.
To protect itself.
Yeah, the
When
guilt is there before the body. The guilt is already there before the body.
what the hell?
Yeah, and that's why it's like when the guilt is gone, there's no need to manifest another body.
Oh,
Not like that anyway. Not like that anyway. I mean,
what do you mean
there's
not like that?
well, the mind, the when the guilt is gone, the mind can be used to manifest the body like instantly, just for showing, just for teaching and showing that what's been made manifest isn't real. I'm sure you've heard of people having appearances by like angels and stuff like that, and that's like the mind being used to just make an appearance of a body without like going through the vaginal canal.
Wow. Wow. I never ever thought of that before.
Yeah, it's like in the situation we find ourselves in. It's kind of like we've just our unconscious mind has believed all this thought, and over who knows how many lifetimes, just accumulated and accumulated and accumulated. So it's almost like there's this sense of climbing back out or something.
Climbing back out of the body.
Right, yeah, it's like climbing back up. It's kind of like that.
Huh. So if you are climb out all the way, then okay, so then there's no attachment to the body and mind. You're
Yeah.
completely free of all of that
Yes.
thought.
Yes.
Wow. So basically, there is a climbing out happening here.
Well, in a sense, it's all in a sense because it's not
Yeah,
like,
innocent. Right.
yeah,
It's
it's
not
not like
that.
anything we're saying is actually true because we are speaking
Right.
in a false world, a
Right.
false
So,
language.
and every single word means nothing,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yeah, it's
had
all
those thoughts lately.
yeah, it's
That's
all it's all just pointing. Even if somebody's yelling at you, it's all pointing. It's all teaching.
gosh.
That's
Oh,
fun.
every time I talk with you, I feel like I need to take a deep breath and integrate all of it. That's like,
Isn't that
ooh, oh, and then I listen back to it over and over and over. It's trying to get something out of it. It's ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous.
well, that's great. I mean, even whatever's trying to get something, it doesn't matter.
Right, it doesn't matter.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not saying anything about you. It's not saying like you're less spiritual or something like
Yeah,
that.
right, yeah.
So I see
It's
there's
just,
a comment here. Christine said something about Akashic records. Christine, if you'd like to talk with me about that, would
yeah,
you just raise your hand? Um, Akashic records. Christine knows a lot about Akashic records. Oh, there she is, raising her hand. Okay, I'm going to go
okay.
to Christine. She
Bye,
knows
Hope.
about it big time. All right, I love you, Lori.
Love you too.
Aloha, Christine.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
Oh, I have to turn. Okay.
Beautiful to hear your voice. You got something going on over there?
Whoa. Okay, so I'm on the phone
Yeah.
and I'm hearing the echo, but it says that I can't. If I hang up here, then I can't hear you.
Oh,
Click
okay.
to mute. Click to mute yourself. All right, I'm gonna hang up the phone and see what happens.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Oh. Well, maybe you could just tell me something
Okay.
about Akashic Records, and then I'll respond, and you can come back on for that.
I,
All right, I'm going to type it in. Are you there, Christine?
you unmuted yourself. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me, but I still can't hear you. So it doesn't
Oh.
work. I don't know how to.
Want
I
to
don't know
write
how to
something?
hear you.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I just sent something to you. So what I do know about Akashic Records,
Aha.
can you hear me, Christine? Some people can read these Akashic Records, which is basically records of past lives. I've actually had a Hawaiian kahuna do that to me. It's pretty interesting. They can see what kind of experiences you've experienced before in different lives, which are also all illusory. Isn't that fun? So Christine, I'm not sure where Christine is, but maybe she'll be back. And does anyone else have a question in the meantime? Bob Shine. Aloha, Bob.
Okay, did you get my message that I was going to be late? So I got here 15 minutes late, but I'm glad I made
Oh, no, I
it. Thank
didn't, but
you.
it's beautiful to talk with you.
Okay, right. So I didn't have any burning questions, but yeah, this topic you were just talking about, reality and illusion,
Hmm?
that it seems that any kind of form and effect is illusion, that we're dependent on any kind of form and effect for life. It seems like the reality is invisible.
Yes.
Joel Goldsmith, if you can see it, hear it, taste it, touch it, smell it, it isn't power. All power is in the invisible, beyond
Hmm.
form and effect. So it seems like as long as you're dependent on any kind of form and effect for your life or survival, then that's the illusion.
Yes, for sure. And we see that a lot with like our one thing that comes to mind is our medical system. And even when it comes to like naturopathic doctors and stuff like that, I mean, there are these healing modalities that appear to heal the body. And let's even add essential oils to that, since I have an essential oil business. There's these different healing modalities that appear to heal the body. And what's important to acknowledge in all of this is that the healing is actually taking place in the mind. And the mind isn't necessarily healed just because the body might be showing a form of healing too. But the body is completely being projected by the mind. So it's not like it's a separate thing, and it's not like it can be affected by anything in the world.
The body or the mind.
The body is a projection of the mind. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the most difficult, especially when we're dealing with something like an illness, that's when the ego comes up big. It's like, oh, they start looking for, oh, what did I do to make this happen? And it's really big to just acknowledge that this is a script being played out, and to keep on seeing the truth in that situation and letting it just play out the way it does, letting the mind, naturally and automatically play the story and seeing through the illusion. And as a side effect of that, a lot of times there's that shift in dimensions I was talking about earlier. Of course, that can't be the goal, because if the goal is to try to make something happen, it backfires, because it's putting into the mind like you need something in the world to happen, and that's totally the ego.
Hmm. Yeah, well, here where I live, we have Tenji, who has got this cancer, and now she has been taking THC oil and trying not to do chemo, but now she's got even another tumor, and now she has to go to Washington and get some kind of chemo and then some kind of naturopathic remedies for the side effects of the chemo.
Huh?
And she's in a very critical state. Michelle was telling me she doesn't even know if she's going to come back. So,
Uh-huh.
she's trying, she's, she's going to try and do something to save her life.
Uh-huh.
But it seems like in a situation like this, it really calls for enlightenment. It's not so much healing. It's like there's something really here that you've been unconscious of. Your shadow aspect is kind of coming out to the surface and is engulfing you and is wanting to swallow you up in its shadow. And there's some internal element that is creating this cancer. And like you say, the mind is projecting the body. So what's going on in the mind and the repression or subconscious that is manifesting these deadly symptoms.
Well,
So
see,
we're
no,
really
that's no, Bob. See, the thing with that is that's making it personal. When it's like, okay, what's going on in the mind, and how can I fix it, and this calls for, me to work on my shadow and all this other stuff like that. And the thing is, the body and all of the diseases that come with the body, that's something that happens with the body. It is a disease. It's dis-ease, you know so it's not something that's personal, where it's saying like, okay, this is my shadow coming up, now it's time for this and this and this. That's what makes the ego even stronger. And it doesn't matter what kind of treatment is sought in the world. That's all just happening. It doesn't matter if it's conventional medicine or whatever it is. It's like people are going to seek whatever treatment is the least fearful to them. That's how it's going to go. They're going to seek whatever treatment is the least fearful, and that's going to have the best outcome. And that's all fine. And whatever happens to the body, whatever goes on with any kind of disease, it's not for making it into something like that either. It's kind of like a little trick of the ego, and especially with people who have been on a spiritual path for a long time. It's almost like their body will go through some sort of disease, and then it's all of a sudden like, oh, I didn't learn what I needed to learn, and that's why this is happening. Well, let me tell you, the mind can be completely enlightened, and the body could still have a disease if that's what's in the script, if that's what's necessary. It's not as if that person, it's because it's not personal. If it like that person needs to change something up, that's a real trick right there. I see that as a real trick of the ego to seek like that when something happens with the body. So it's more of just like anything else. Just like experiencing vibrant health, it doesn't so much come up to acknowledge that you didn't do anything for that vibrant health. Just in the same way, you didn't do anything for a disease. There's no you to do anything like that. It's all a process of mind, and it's already been written. And it's a matter of if it's used for healing, and healing in the way I'm talking about it is what leads to enlightenment. It's what leads to the experience of enlightenment, because it's healing these ideas in the mind that there's someone guilty. You see that? You see how it's just a little bit of a trick right there? It's not a little bit of a trick. It's actually a big trick, but it's subtle. It's subtle. It's like saying, "Oh, I need to look at the way I've been thinking," you know. And it's not anything like that ever. It's always this moment. It's always acknowledging the truth in this moment. Not making the body into as if it's something that's showing you what you did wrong. You know, that's like it's another guilt. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but so then what would be the cause of the disease?
Rip.
The same thing that would be the cause of health, the mind. It's just in the script. That's the thing. Looking for cause like that. Looking for cause like that. That's a trick. Well, it wants to look for that. It's a health and disease are the same. That's the thing to see. They're the same. It does. If you're healthy, it doesn't mean you did something right, and if you got a disease, it doesn't mean you did something wrong.
Well, what does it mean then?
It means nothing. It means nothing at all. That's the thing. Nothing that occurs in the world has any meaning whatsoever. No meaning. It all has a purpose, though, and I know you know what it is. Right, Bob?
What, love? What, love?
You can call it love, you can call it forgiveness, you can call it acknowledgement of the truth. That's the thing to be very consistent about. Nothing has meaning. Disease has no meaning, just as health has no meaning. You're giving it, what gives it meaning is ego. What gives it meaning is ego all the time. And you know, that's a huge healing just by you observing what's going on with this person. I forget her name. But just by you observing what's going on, that's a huge opportunity for healing from your perspective. Just by observing.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, because when you see these thoughts arise, go ahead, Bob.
No, you go ahead. Thoughts arise.
Yeah, when you see these thoughts arise that are asking what she did or speaking as if her shadow's coming up, and that's why she's experienced a disease, that's the moment. That's the moment where healing can take place. That's the moment to acknowledge the truth. In your own experience, in your own mind. You see what I'm saying? Because there's an ego. Go ahead.
And so then I would acknowledge the truth.
You acknowledge the truth in that moment because how would you say?
Yeah, how would I acknowledge that truth?
That the illness itself has no meaning. That this is playing out. This is playing out. It's all the same. That's the thing. There's no differentiation. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but there's no difference between the differences that you see in the world. Here's another thing that the ego does when you experience someone else dealing with disease. It tries to explain why they got that disease to try to protect you from getting the disease. It's funny. And acknowledging the truth is just seeing what's happening there.
So it's just where there's someone outside of that you're afraid of happening. That you projected on someone else.
There's a fear of it. There's a fear of it happening to the mind-made self. And that's why all these ideas are made up, like, oh, she didn't deal with her shadow, that's why. It's a good thing I'm dealing with my shadow, so that shit doesn't happen to me. Isn't that fun? We're trying to figure out how to avoid it. You can't avoid it. You can't avoid whatever it is that's in the script. Now, but then, like I was saying, there's a changing dimensions, but that's not anything that you do. That's kind of just like a side effect. And who knows when it's going to happen. It's just that certain lessons become unnecessary when they're seeing through stuff.
Mm-hmm. So it's, yeah, I realize it's not a matter of healing my and not anyone or anything outside of myself.
Right. Yeah, it's all for you. That's a huge acknowledgement right there. It's all for
Right.
you.
Yes. Whatever happens with her in her life, this has been a challenge for me to be
Yes.
this close to this kind of situation and to want to help her somehow or give some kind of solution. And so
Uh-huh.
I've been, meditating on it and then observing things about herself and her life that seem to indicate that that there's an area that she has a blind spot she's unconscious of, and saying, maybe you need to look at this about yourself that you're not seeing, you need enlightenment on. But then you're saying that that's just all illusion, that whole
Yep.
approach.
Yeah. It's just making meaning out of meaninglessness. You just allow people to
Mm.
have their own experience, whatever it is. And who knows? Something could come out of your mouth that happens to be the thing that totally wipes the cancer out. You don't know. That could happen. But it's not like you need to do that, because if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Whatever's meant to be. So you don't have to
yeah,
try to make anything happen in the world. You don't have to make yourself into anything. Let people have their experience, because they're getting exactly what's necessary to heal the mind from their point of view, from their
right.
perspective of it. Yeah, and your
Yeah,
experience with them is exactly what you need at the same time. Isn't it beautiful?
right. Yeah, so that's what's bringing up this whole topic that we're exploring. Because
Yes.
I'm challenged because read about Joel Goldsmith and Christian Science healing, that you don't even think about the disease or the problem or the cause. You just dismiss it as illusion, and if you've dismissed it as illusion, then it disappears. But then there's the other school that a lot of people use spirituality was to escape from their shadow side, repression. Religion and spirituality becomes a crutch. So then the people are avoiding aspects that they need to see in themselves. So I get caught in how much to ignore and dismiss, and how much that needs to be attentive to these unconscious repressed areas.
Yeah, so the most awesome thing is that it's so simple. It's just so simple. All there is to do is acknowledge the truth. Everything else happens automatically. If something in the
Mm.
world needs to be used to effectuate a cure, the appearance of a cure, then that'll happen. If it's time for the body to be laid aside, then that'll happen. But it's so simple, just to acknowledge the truth. That's all there is to do. Everything else is
Mm.
just complicating it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to do at any time, is just acknowledge what's really happening here.
Mm.
That's before the appearance of what's going on.
Mm. And the reality is what again?
Well,
Well, that's
when I'm using words, I'm not quite there, but
right. Well,
every,
that's why I
everything
get there with you.
nothing has meaning. Let's put it that way. That's one way to put it. Nothing has meaning. The world isn't real. Okay. Um, you are Christ. What else?
And that's good.
And then go ahead.
I just said that's good enough. Yeah.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
that's good. the Christ consciousness that does it. You know, they say attain the mind that was in Christ Jesus. So that's all you have to do. And the I am consciousness that recognizes God as the identity of everyone and everything, and then that's the truth you stick with, and then that's the truth that sets you free. You don't have to meddle with any other thoughts, basically.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about whether you're doing it right. You don't have to think about whether you're repressing something or finding something out, or you know, you're telling the person the right thing or anything like that, because it's all just right there in that moment of acknowledging that there is no separation. You know, that the truth. There's
Mm.
not these bodies are not real. They're appearances of a guilty mind,
Mm.
and they're for
Mm-hmm.
fun. While the ego and the guilty mind is coming out of the sleep state, it's a lot of fun,
So maybe
and
that's
the
what kills us
illusion
in.
can be enjoyed.
So you
What?
think that's what kills? Is that what kills us in the end? We're overcome by our guilt. You know, the
Well,
Course in Miracles.
nothing kills anything that's real. Nothing
Mm.
kills anything that's real. Bodies are
Mm.
born to die. Well, I mean, look,
Right.
would you say Jesus was guilty? That guy was that was freaking murdered on a cross.
Yeah, well, he's been guilty of love. You know, they put him on the cross to show everyone in society what a radical lover like him would, his fate, because society is organized lovelessness, and they're based on fear and crippling people into submission, and they don't want powerful lovers like Christ.
Sure,
But
sure.
the idea
Yeah, these bodies
is
die.
to and to know true identity and what's real. Like I was saying in the beginning, the reality and illusion that form and effect is the illusion. So to try and heal it or be afraid of it is to, like you say, just get stuck in the dream and the illusion. And like I was saying, the reality is invisible. Um, there's this really good Facebook site. Have you seen it? Anonymous. It's ANO, and it's a capital I in the center. And it's this really enlightened guy. Have you ever seen his post?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll have to show you. Anyway, so he is like, have you ever seen The Invisible Man, where the Invisible Man has to wrap a bandage around his head and put on gloves and clothes for people to see him. And so he characterizes himself on this website as the Invisible Man because the truth about him is that he's purely invisible. He has no form. He's pure awareness, pure consciousness. So that really seems to be the actual truth about us, is the truth that we are the space that
Yes.
creates. They say you are the sky, everything else is just the weather. So
Right.
you can have good weather, you can have bad weather, you can have sick bodies or well bodies,
Yeah.
but it's all generated within the empty, invisible, open space that who you truly are, not dependent on
Yeah.
any form and
Yeah. So you see what making meaning out of illness is not the same as saying that.
right.
And it's
Yes.
not and yeah, it's like, okay, guilt guilt definitely kills the body, but it also births the body too in the first place. So it's not like your mind is less enlightened if your body dies.
Mm,
All these bodies appear to die. They appear to be born and they appear to die. They're just appearances.
yeah. Well, that's why the key really is enlightenment. It's not so much healing or anything. It's being enlightened on the whole issue, and that's
Well, that's what healing is.
right. Yeah. So
That's what healing is. When you're talking about true healing is healing the mind, right? It's
yeah.
not like a it's not like It's not like, a lot of the ways, healing modalities are used is to just try to address the symptom, which is fine, and that's not any problem at all. But that's not actually healing. That's still an illusory cure.
Right.
Even when you're talking about essential oils, I mean, you're still an illusory cure. It makes it look like there's been a healing, but really it's been covered up. The healing happens in the mind only, and it doesn't necessarily reflect anything in the body. In fact, it doesn't reflect anything in the body.
Yeah. So,
I mean, enlightened mind, it's like bodies that are being projected from enlightened minds also die of cancer. So,
well, that's what happened to Ramana Maharshi. He had cancer, and all of his followers were trying to get him, healed, and he didn't even care. He didn't go and lift a
yeah,
finger to do anything. It didn't matter to him.
right. Yeah. It matters to all
But
you guys because you're still, he's like, it matters to all you guys because you're still identified with the body. I don't need this.
right, they identify with their body and his body. Huh?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
All right. So,
that's just.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, you have another question.
Oh, I was gonna see if anybody had any questions because we're at the hour right now, and I'll be glad to stay
Oh,
on if anybody has any other questions. I
oh,
don't see any hands going up at the moment, so probably going to be wrapping it up. Did you have something else to say, Bob?
well, yeah, it's like the placebo effect. You can see that
Oh,
it's
I
all
see a
just a
hand now.
belief. Oh, okay, good. Maybe we sparked a question. Okay, well, thank you, Hope. I'm very appreciative of this. I really needed this enlightened
Oh,
clarification. Thank
oh, I love you, Bob. And yes,
you. Okay, I love
everything is a placebo.
that. Yeah,
You got it.
that's
You got it. Okay, going to Christine. Aloha, Christine. Are you there? Oh, maybe there's not Christine. Wait.
Yes, I think I got it.
Woo!
Yes.
Hooray!
I had to go through all kinds of contortions, but I finally downloaded it on my phone, and that worked. So,
Oh, great. Oh, thank you for doing that. You're going to tell us about Akashic Records?
well, I don't know. I think I've gone way past that question or that statement, since you've been
Okay.
going on for the last hour.
Okay.
It's just the Akashic Records, when we, before we incarnate, we go there and we decide, it's already decided, like you said, it's already predestined to,
Mhm.
at least for the lessons that we're going to learn, maybe not exactly how we're going to get them.
Mhm.
At least that's my understanding. And
Okay.
the piece, but we have to forget, otherwise it doesn't feel real, right? And if we don't forget,
Yeah.
then we'd all be just walking around like you, just laughing at it all.
Yep. Yep.
and we wouldn't have to be here anymore. So anyway,
Yep.
the question,
Nope.
I had a really, really intense day today, and so I have a couple questions for you about it.
Awesome.
You were talking about the weight and the accumulation of like past lives, and trying to walk out of that. So I feel like I was in the weight of all of that today,
Okay.
and knowing that it was the illusion. What I did is I did what you taught me, is to sit with the breath. So, but I did deeper breaths. I didn't just do like the Vipassana breath. I just really filled my belly and moved the breath for a couple hours. And
Okay.
what happened is I feel really weird.
Okay.
I almost feel heavy in my brain, and the sadness like didn't arise and come out. It just feels like it's all sitting in my body.
Okay.
And I just wondered if what I can, not that I need to do anything. Well, I guess I am asking if what can I do with it?
Well, it all comes down to the same thing, and that's really just acknowledging the truth. The body is just a projection. It's not a reality, and it's there for it's there apparently, in your experience, to serve a purpose, and that's just allowing it to be however it is, even if it's heavy. You don't have to try to lighten it up. The lightening up happens in the mind. The body can be anything.
Okay.
Just allowing the heaviness. Sometimes it means you're resting. There's not a bunch of energy to do a lot of different things. Just resting.
Yeah, it does
Being
feel
with
like
it.
it's rest. I
Mhm.
also realized today that the disease that has manifested. You said that you
Mhm.
don't do anything wrong to manifest the disease, but the fears that have come out of this disease for me, the fears that I'm, now sitting with, are
Okay.
fears that I thought came from the disease, but they were here before the disease.
Yeah.
So how
Yep.
can you say it's not, I didn't cause it when I did have those fears and it's come out, or is it just, I don't know, explain.
Well, you're not someone with the fears like that. It's just the mind. It's like it's thought that's gone into fear, and then you're just experiencing it. You're the formless witness of it. That's how you didn't cause it. When you're making it personal like that, you're adding energy to fear, basically. And still, it's not like anything that manifests is your doing or your thought, because it's happening on a subconscious level, and you can only do the best that you can at that time. So taking responsibility is about being right here, present, with whatever's arising, and that's including a thought that says that you caused this to happen, because you're talking when you're talking like that, you're talking about an individual that doesn't exist. Sure, it's caused in the mind, but it's taking it as if there's any guilt about it is the part where it is just adds more guilt to the mind. You see the difference there?
Uh, So it's not that I felt guilty about it today. It was
Okay.
just that I saw the association that, those fears that have come out of this were fears that I haven't dealt with, that have been here for a really long time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
with that realization, my mind wants to say, well, since that's so, then because you had those fears, that thing has manifested out of that.
Okay.
Like the mind-body connection. Like, there's the book, The Secret Language of the Body, and, certain emotions get stuck in certain places and create certain disorders or pains or illnesses. Now, is that is true on one level, right?
Well, it's true. It's a very illusory, though. It's like because the body is absolutely a projection of the mind. It's not like it's not like a mind body connection like that. I know that's kind of popular in spiritual circles. This like mind body spirit thing. Oh, do you have a plane over there?
A plane going over you. I live near an airport.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the mind is projecting this body that apparently has a disease, and that in that moment where it's being experienced, that's where the opportunity is, and that taking that opportunity is taking responsibility. There's nothing else to really think about. There's nothing else to get into about it. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing
Okay.
else to get into about it. Whatever is arising right now, that's great that you're seeing, oh, it's fear that created this. It's not like it's
Mhm.
my fear as an individual. Oh, I see the fear is creating this. Okay, awesome. That's what's up right now, and that's what can be seen through right now.
Okay.
And in that, there's not a need for the body to project it, to be project differently than it is. Okay? When there's real acknowledgement of the truth and there's real seizing of that opportunity, there's also not this idea that whatever you're doing is going to make this appearance of an illness go away, because it doesn't matter. In acknowledgement of the truth, in the moment that the truth is being acknowledged, whatever's happening on the surface is not meaningful at all.
It's not what I wanted to hear. I guess I'm still looking for a way to get rid of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's what's going on. That's
Okay.
what's going on. And you know what? That's totally fine. It's not there's not any problem with that. I mean, even going to doctors and doing different things, whatever's happening is happening, and the opportunity to see through is always constantly there.
The
That's when
opportunity to what?
see through it, see through the illusion of it
Okay.
is always
That it's not.
constantly there. It's not real. Yeah. And it's not meaningful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it doesn't matter if it just lasts for the rest of the life. It doesn't make a difference. And you know, and the thing is, when it doesn't make a difference, and that's when these shifts can happen. I'm not saying that they will, though. That's the thing. There can't be a dependency on them, because you don't know what's necessary as far as healing the mind, and that's the way that's the way things are set up. If there hasn't been that healing in the mind, or who knows, maybe the healing has occurred in the mind, and the body's still going to retain this form of being an illness because it teaches other minds, other aspects of the mind. Let me clarify that there's one mind, but there's different aspects of the mind. So whatever's necessary for coming out of this illusion as a whole, you know, just surrendering to whatever's necessary.
Okay. Okay.
Christine, you're so awesome.
Thank you. How are you? Now I've got. Where can I listen to the past recordings?
Oh, on my YouTube channel.
Oh, you have a YouTube channel. Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I have a YouTube
Okay.
channel, and I've been posting them on Facebook. Let me see if I can tell you like the path to my YouTube channel. Let's see. Okay, this is my YouTube channel. My channel. Let's see.
YouTube.
Oh, that's just a bunch of numbers. That's not like an easy thing for me to tell you. But what'll happen is I'll post this video over to Facebook, and then when you link to that video, now it's not going to go to webinar where you have to sign in or anything. It's actually going to go to my channel, and you can actually subscribe to that channel if you like.
Okay, so I went to YouTube and I put your name in, and it didn't come up as a video. So.
I'm not that
Or maybe.
popular.
Not yet.
Yeah, and so what we'll do is I'll just post it on Facebook, and then when you link from there, you'll see it. And if you want, you can go to my wall right now and look down the wall. The last one I posted went straight to YouTube.
Okay,
And then
great. I'll look at
yeah.
that. And
Oh.
I'm planning a trip in maybe November to come back on island. So.
Oh, how fun! I'd love to snuggle you up.
Oh, I know, honey. Can't wait. November, December, January, but I got to come back. So.
All right. How fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine. Aloha, everyone. I love you so much. I don't see any hands, so I'm going to close this session. And until next time, blessings. Oh, wait, Lori. Yeah, you know I'll stay if you got a question. Aloha,
I don't,
Lori.
aloha. I don't really have a question. I just wanted to tell her that if she types in under search Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, it'll come up in YouTube. The two that you've
Oh,
already
yay.
posted will come up.
Oh,
And
there
then
you go,
she
Christine.
can subscribe right from there. Okay,
Okay,
I did
cool.
not. I put in
Yep.
Hope Johnson Sacred Dialogues and it didn't work.
type in Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson.
Wisdom. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Okay.
there's one more hand. I got Bob's hand going, so I'm going to go to Bob. There you go. Unmute Bob. Aloha, Bob.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. You have to look for Wisdom Dialogues, and then it'll come up on YouTube.
Okay, fabulous.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks
Well,
so
thank you.
much.
So we'll see you in a couple days, huh?
You'll see me in a couple days.
All right. Looking forward
Love
to
you
it.
all.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo.
Mahalo.